Hi Polyphonic, this is Jade Simmons coming to you from the Detroit Metro Airport. I am on my way back to Houston after an amazingly musically rewarding but terribly exhausting weekend here in Detroit. This weekend really was kind of in many ways the perfect representation of the type of career that I've been working towards. And it required a lot of me musically, physically, mentally. But what I realized the takeaway was, especially for all of you tuning in, is that we must be adaptable, adjustable, and versatile. So this weekend I got to Detroit actually on Thursday night. Friday I had media appearances that were set up for me by the Detroit Symphony, so they were the host of one of the concerts I did here. So on Friday morning I had an 8:30 a.m. TV appearance. I did get to warm up, and I was expecting to do 3 minutes of Rachmaninoff. And right before we went on the air, I was told I had 2.5 minutes, which 30 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but in the world of musical repertoire, it's a big chunk to have to cut out. So I actually did a live version of Rachmaninoff where I had to cut out 30 seconds and kind of make an on-the-spot cut. And right before we went on, the newscaster decided that he wanted to do kind of a fun version of Heart and Soul for the teaser. So we did that, and we had a lot of fun. Now, the publicity people were really scared because when I went over to the radio station, the last time they'd had a pianist there, the pianist refused to play on the piano because it wasn't a perfect piano. And you can't do things like that. So what I did was not refuse to play. I just changed the repertoire because all of a sudden I had no warm-up time. I went into the studio thinking I was going to warm up. We had about 20 seconds and we went on the air. So in that spur of the moment, I decided to switch from flashy Liszt Paganini to something more soothing and soft and slow, which was a Rachmaninoff Etude Tableau. So there was another adjustment that had to be made. All of a sudden, because we had some extra time on the air after all, the host of the show was asking me about the Sphinx organization, which was the other organization that brought me to town. I had to be ready to talk about those things intelligently and with passion. I think sometimes as artists, we just get to town, we want to practice and we want to perform, but we forget that we've been brought in to make a very specific impact, and we need to be informed about who we're playing for and why we're playing. And the details about the concert. I needed to know that as well. Now, that was Friday. Friday night, I had 2 back-to-back sets at the Detroit Institute of Arts where I did 2 different solo recitals. What no one knows is that about a couple hours before the show, I opened my brand new MacBook to find out that none of my musical files had transferred. I had none of my electronic beats. So luckily, I had stored some on Dropbox, but the older files I had to get my sister to send to me, which got to me about 45 minutes before the show actually started. This was a legitimate freak-out moment. I resisted that urge, made a couple of plan Bs and plan Cs for if the music didn't transfer, but luckily was able to go on with the show. But I gave 2 back-to-back sets, and I made them different because a lot of the audience sticks around from one set to the other. Went all the way from Rachmaninoff to rap, did a lot of improv in that show. Saturday, I went over to Orchestra Hall for a rehearsal with the Sphinx Symphony Orchestra under a conductor named Maestro Anthony Elliott, who I'd never played with before. I'd never played with this orchestra. We were doing Gershwin, very different than the rap, the rapping that I had done the night before. So all of a sudden I had to jump into a concerto mindset. It's in this gorgeous hall, home of the Detroit Symphony. And then Saturday I had the rest of the day off, but I went to a conference that the Sphinx organization was hosting. Sunday I had a 9:30 rehearsal with orchestra, and in that rehearsal I see them setting up cameras, and I realized that this is going to be a live streamed concert. It's going to be webcast. So another legitimate freak out moment where I could have been really panicked by the cameras that were being placed on and about the piano and around the stage, but I didn't. So because I didn't really have time, because at 1 p.m. I had to go back over to the Detroit Institute of Art, play a completely acoustic solo piano. Sorry, we're in the airport, so it's getting busy here. Solo piano recital with a completely different audience. So I had to tell some of the same stories that I told Friday night. And this was music that most of it I hadn't played 2 nights before. And after that concert, I went over. That concert was at 1 p.m. 2 p.m. I was whisked back over to Orchestra Hall for the actual concerto concert there. Everything went off really without a hitch, but I realized that so much of it was because I didn't allow myself to get flustered in all of the back and forth. You know, if you say you want a diverse career with multiple opportunities, you have to be ready physically, mentally to handle that. So here's to encouraging you not to just being adaptable and adjustable, but looking for ways to put your versatility on display. So as you plan your concerts, when you get a booking, look for a way to expand yourself. Don't just play the concert and get the heck out of Dodge. Look for ways to make an impact, to increase your exposure while you're there, and then make sure you're mentally prepared to handle the hustle and bustle that comes with that. All right, good luck with that.